Joni Mitchell, Hejira, right now on States and Kingdoms. Welcome back to States and Kingdoms. Today we're talking about Joni Mitchell's album, Hejira, from 1976. And we've done a lot of 1976 albums recently.
Yeah, not by design.
Yeah, totally by chance. And I never even really thought about all the albums I love that come from that year.
Well, what have we done? We did Pere Ubu.
Right. And Royal Scam.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then Wind and Wuthering.
That's true.
So Joni Mitchell, we've done a few videos of hers so far. We've done a couple of records, and she's someone that I think I listen to more than you.
You think so?
I think. And I mean, I've been listening to Joni Mitchell for quite some time. Our mom loved Court and Spark. That was her album, so that's what I started with. I got that first, and then I really I didn't listen to her records in order. I really jumped around a lot. So this was one that I listened to, I guess a little, later. I'd already listened to.
But you didn't. I always felt like you always tended toward the middle 70s stuff. So basically, For the Roses on.
Yes.
Yeah, it was always what you listened to most.
Yeah, my chunk is really For the Roses to Don Juan's Reckless Daughter are my favorite albums. I love those.
Yeah.
And then the earlier stuff is not as like, I love it.
Well, for me, it's just that kind of confessional folk style was never really my thing.
Yeah, I don't really listen to anything else like that either.
I've said before, I mean, I've listened to those records. I'll listen to them again.
Yeah.
I never write anything off because it's been too many times has something clicked after years.
You never know. Sometimes you listen to things at the wrong time and then you revisit them later and it's like your favorite thing.
No question, some music makes a really lousy first impression. Not that, but some does.
Some does.
You really do. I mean, you have to
give it a chance.
Give it a chance. I'll give it a number of chances.
I do. I love some songs on Ladies of the Canyon. I love some songs
I did like
on Blue.
I did like Ladies of the Canyon.
Yeah. So, I mean...
But I never liked Big Yellow Taxi.
No, I don't like that song either.
I just, it's always been a thing.
Yeah. Too everywhere.
Anyway. So, like you, though, and I followed you in this. This is, really probably either just similar tastes or your influence. I mean, yeah, it's not until... I haven't listened to For the Roses that much, really, but it's not until Court and Spark that I genuinely get a lot out of them. So... And this, History of Summer Lawns and this are probably the two that I find just most fascinating, and they are actually genuinely fascinating. They're both really quite different. This album, I mean, you could take it at face value. It is a Hejira, and it's very interesting in that respect. I mean, so it's very autobiographical. Really pretty straightforward. I mean, yes, of course, as always, there is a lot of imagery in her lyrics, but you really know what she's talking about.
And it feels like it's a very specific, chunk of time where, all these things are happening in this kind of progression, and it's it's cool. It's just this block of her life. And
so there is a progression. And you don't want to hold the album to that maybe too much, but listening to it, you do notice, at the very least, side 2 is fairly different from side 1. So Coyote. I didn't hear that. Coyote. Why did I say it like that? Coyote.
In Coyote.
Coyote.
Well, so all the songs, I know you have something to say. All the songs feel like they have a little bit of the location that they were written in them. So
a little bit. Yeah,
so Coyote definitely sounds like the West.
Both
and,
the first and Amelia does too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little country.
And then later on, it feels like New York.
Nightclubs.
Yeah, it's very very cool.
Yeah, there is something of that, and like I said, you don't want to hold the album to that too much, but it sort of suggests itself. So Coyote. is striking. I mean, if you actually have been listening to the records in chronological order, and I might have, or you probably did. So I'm sure I heard Hissing of Summer Lawns first.
Yeah, I think I definitely listened to Hissing of Summer Lawns first.
But if you're listening to them in chronological order, the very opening of this is very striking. There's electric rhythm guitar, as well as acoustic rhythm guitar. And the bass is, I mean, so there are three bass players,
right.
Obviously, but you can easily tell which one's which.
Yeah.
And, you have no trouble. Yeah, you have no trouble knowing that it's Jaco Pastorius. And his bass on this is genuinely amazing. The way it
resonates,
blooms behind, and the movement behind the guitar and her voice. I mean, it's just, it adds a dimension that it doesn't even really suggest jazz to me. We were talking about Joni Mitchell's influence, and I mean, there are people that are but they really do always focus
jazz.
On the women she influenced.
Yeah.
And she had a lot of influence on men. And I mean, one obvious one that I've always known about, really a long time, is Lee Ranaldo.
Right.
And I hear more of that kind of thing, coming from at least the first side.
Yeah.
At least this, this song and this first side, the textures, everything about what's, the harmonics, it really reminds me of
Sonic Youth.
Something like that, or something like Tortoise.
Yes.
It's really, really interesting. And I love the sound. And again, what she's singing about is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
I
mean, little animal in the night named Coyote.
Yeah.
I just killed the conversation.
Yeah. So this song starts the
journey.
The journey. It starts the necessary journey. I would say this and Amelia are pretty seamless, seems to me, musically and autobiographically, narratively, whatever.
Yeah.
Thematically? No, I don't know.
Systematically. Hi, dramatically. Here's lightning.
Amelia, the lyrics are a little bit more ambiguous.
Yeah.
I don't...
It was more like metaphor.
Well, yeah, I don't quite know what she means.
Flying.
It seems, that there, as always with Joni Mitchell's lyrics, I mean, there are moments of real intimacy where she really is showing a lot of her emotional self.
Yeah,
but like we said, it does have a kind of country sound to it at times.
It does.
The way her and just a little. It does suggest where she is. Other than that, yeah, it's a
lovely song. This album always felt very sophisticated to me.
Musically or lyrically?
Both. Like something, almost like something shifted, and she's a little bit more mature, and the songs just have a bit of a tightness. Like they feel very, very complete and together.
Or could that just be the
like the theming?
Not the theming, but the actual circumstances under which it was written.
Yeah, maybe.
That's interesting. I don't know.
But I mean, talking about lyrics, you know this. I don't generally give too much attention to lyrics. I mishear them all the time. I make up my own lyrics. It doesn't matter to me so much. But Joni Mitchell is one of the people who I do hear them, and it does factor in maybe a bit more to the experience of listening to the music than with some other bands where I sort of can dismiss it or just it doesn't matter so much.
Well, that makes sense with Joni Mitchell. I mean, the words are very much
good on me.
At the forefront of the song.
I listened to it right.
I mean, it's not exactly Louis.
Right. Or Louie.
Anyway.
Coyote.
Anyway, so I'm gonna go through each song here. Your favorite song,
Strange Boy.
is Strange Boy, and let's
Yeah.
skip over Furry Sings the Blues.
Which I love too. Yeah, Strange Boy, I don't know, something about it. Just, I love the melody. And, yeah.
There's such a, I mean, Furry Sings the Blues is an interesting song because it fits in with the feel of moving, from one place to another, certainly, it does. And then you have, I mean, I don't want to push this too hard, but it does, listening to it, it does suggest itself. And then, of course, Strange Boy is about someone she's traveling with.
Right.
And it's interesting that you like that song so much. It is an interesting song. I mean, lyrically, it's an interesting song because it's very personal.
It's very personal.
It's a little embarrassing.
It's a little embarrassing.
Awkward. Just want to cover the record up, lead it away, put it back on the shelf. Put his jacket on.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing. I can't really explain why. I do love the lyrics. It feels like something that a lot of people have experienced. And I love the song. It's it doesn't do anything like grand. It kind of unfolds in the same way throughout. It doesn't have like a bunch of changes to it or anything, but it's just really, really nice.
Yeah. And then Hejira is a very different sounding song. Like I said, it's an aptly titled album and song. I mean, like a journey that you need to make.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a vacation. She's working.
No. It's a requirement.
Yeah.
Something of that, I guess, you don't want to call it angst, but that urgency is definitely felt in this song. And a couple other songs, but definitely felt in this song. I just love the sort of I guess you'd call it the patterns that, are played in this. And, and to some extent, that is what probably does remind me of bands like Tortoise. And, it is really, really interesting.
Yeah, everything is just so rhythmic.
There's a lot of multi-tracking going on, and they're just it's all about. I guess it's like all about timber. I think is so it's just wood.
Timber.
Okay. The second side, not so much Song for Sharon. Exactly, but the second side does get jazzier.
Yeah.
Like conventionally jazzier, and she starts to use her. I'm gonna say she starts to use her voice differently.
Yeah.
Like it's not until the second side really that she starts to use it like an instrument instead of
the way she holds the notes. And the way she
the phrasing changes a little bit. It's really kind of interesting.
A little groovier.
And she does you start to, instead of just as a means of communication or telling a story,
right.
She's starting to use it really more like an instrument. I mean, Song of Sharon, I mean, is it, as far as like the journey part of the album, is a pretty clear one. There's a lot going on.
Well, it's also
in the song,
like,
as far as what she's encountering and what's
going on. Because it's almost
on.
like, I feel like with that song, she's sort of talking to herself. Although it seems like she's talking to her friend Sharon about like the choices they made, but she's really trying to convince herself that she made the right choices, and
right.
And just the dichotomy between the two.
There's
a
nice humor in it.
This is a really meaty record. There really is a lot to talk about.
At this point, I mean, you're dealing with someone that had already made quite a few masterful records.
Yeah, she's at the top of her game.
And
she's confident. She's,
So there's a certain magic to what is being done in front of you. I mean, and with, Jaco Pastorius or Larry Carlton.
Right.
Just...
she's got the best.
Phenomenal. Black Crow is I don't know. It's a song I look forward to on this album.
It literally feels like soaring. Like her voice just is like literally flying.
It has, it's rhythmic. It's got a jazziness to it. I love her phrasing on the song. You know, the way she's singing this is amazing. You know, it's got something of, to me, of like the jungle line.
Yeah.
You know, which I also love.
Awesome song.
It's a great use of like an obvious image, I think. You know, I mean, it doesn't seem contrived.
Like overused.
Yeah, overly poetic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. The guitar solo toward the end, and how, you know, she echoes what he plays.
Yeah, so cool.
You know, and that's what I was saying. There's nothing like that on the first side, which is
True.
interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know
there's
if
a lot
that
more
means
like
anything at all.
intermingling of the
Yeah.
playing and the singing and the
It gets livelier. The first side is quite sparse. Blue Motel Room is just like a jazzy blues or a bluesy jazz or whatever you want to call it.
Blasey.
It's it fits in perfectly. Why? I don't know. You know, I mean, her singing is fantastic. She does sing these kinds of songs really well.
Yeah, it's just
like,
it feels simple, although it's not. It's just.
I mean, I'll put that another way. I love to hear her sing songs like this. Her phrasing, and really the best things about her voice are shown off really well when she sings, you know, these kinds of jazzy songs.
Yeah. Yeah, she sounds great.
But it's still linked to everything.
Absolutely. It has that real feel of like a Vince Guaraldi kind of jazz to me. I always kind of linked it a little bit, something about the bass, I think.
It's just like a smoky
It
jazz
is.
club, but all the smoke is just coming from her.
Yeah.
No, you know, yeah, I love this song. I do. It just has an atmosphere to it. It's great.
It does.
And then
Refuge of the Road.
the last song, which
I love this song.
is like it's a classic Joni Mitchell sounding melody. To me, it feels like a proper conclusion, and not that everything is perfectly okay, but that
Nothing's okay.
some destination has been reached, although like
Right.
50 destinations have been reached throughout the
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
But
And now
anyway-
she's kind of looking back at her trip.
What's interesting is that musically, the Jaco Pastorius, his bass playing takes over the melody more on this than really on any of the other songs. At least that's my impression. You know, there's a lot of melodic playing from him on this song,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. Actually, it's really beautiful.
It is, and it's really interesting how somehow it doesn't take over or
No,
take
it
away
doesn't.
from her
It
singing.
doesn't.
Like they coexist and balance each other somehow. Although they're both so
Yeah.
prominent. The bass is so prominent.
It has almost like a French horn kind of a quality to it. Something, it's just really mellow, really, really pretty.
It's so pleasing. I love, like, it just sounds
And
so good.
altogether, it holds together great. It does lead you from one song to the next. It's extremely personal.
Mm-hmm.
The music is very, very intriguing.
Yeah.
Of her 70s records, this is just really, probably, I'll say it's my favorite.
Cool. Nice job. Thank you so much for watching our discussion of Hejira. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, please. And also stay tuned here at States and Kingdoms for more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll see you next time.